Hi, I'm Julie and this is Elegant Sufficiency, and I'm hanging out in the greenhouse again. This time I'm taking a look at the potatoes I'm going to be growing for the next season. I'm sharing the space with some of the quail. These are the ones that are not making it into our breeding group, but they are just having a little bit of a life of luxury living in the greenhouse over the winter. So if you hear any noises in the background, you know it's probably going to be the quail. So here's the bags of potatoes that I'm going to be using as my seed potatoes to grow from for this year. One of them you'll notice is shop bought, and I'll have a chat with you about that right at the end. But first, I'd like to talk about the seed potatoes that I've bought from Potato House. Last year I bought all of my seed potatoes from mainstream stores. I don't think it was Wilko's, I think it was actually B&Q that I went to last year, and it was just an impulse purchase because I happened to be in there and I thought, oh yeah, let's have a go at some potatoes. I had really good success actually with those, but this year I thought, you know what, let's experiment a bit more, and that's why I thought I'd go to a specialist like this company here, which is Potato House. So Potato House are based in Scotland and they grow so many different varieties of potatoes. If you're not familiar with them, check out their website and just browse through. It's remarkable how many different kinds they have, and I found it really difficult to choose because I sort of wanted to have a go at almost all of them. So let's open them up. So inside the big sack that they were posted in, I've got all of these net bags, which are small bundles. This is absolutely perfect for me and one of the reasons why I chose the company. And for somebody like me who wants to try lots of different things, this is absolutely perfect. It means I can fill a whole raised bed using the square foot gardening method and have so many different varieties going on in there without having had to spend more or waste any potatoes. So let's have a look at what I've got. The first one on my list is Early Rose. As the name suggests, this is an early seed potato, and I think it's probably like a first early, and these have a sort of pinkish hue to them. Next on the list is Edsel Blue. I think this is another early, and again, as the name suggests, this one is more kind of blue in colour. And then we have Violetta. Again, you're getting a bit of a theme here. I was very much choosing my potatoes based on colour. Going into the main crops, we've got Heidi Red. Then we have Linda, which I think is more of a yellow coloured potato. And Blue Annalise. I really want to introduce my children and myself to different colours of food. If they can eat a blue mashed potato on their plate, knowing that it is meant to be that colour, that would be super. I do wonder how they're going to react when they do see these different colours on their plate. I hope because they've been part of a growing process, they are going to embrace it and not shy away. Who made that noise? So what I'm going to do now is start them off chitting. I've got some egg cartons. These are shop bought because our chickens are not laying at the moment through winter. And I'm going to put each of these varieties into a different egg carton and leave them somewhere that is bright and cold, probably a windowsill. I might leave them out here depending on how much frost we're expecting, or I might take them into the house. And what you're supposed to do is find the eyes on them and position them with the eyes face up. So this is a good example here, can you see that? So that's classed as an eye on a potato, and if I have that face up in a bright cold place, that should start to shoot. And what I'm also going to do is write on them so that I don't forget who's who, because it will matter when I put them into the veg beds later. Okay, so clearly I've not actually brought out enough egg boxes with me, and I could go back into the house and get some more, but I'm just not going to. I'm going to rearrange these in the cartons I've already got, and just have two different varieties sharing a carton, one on each side, which is fine. That'll work out perfectly. There are 6 seed potatoes in each bag. So I'm going to do a quick rejiggle, and then hopefully I'll be perfectly organised for planting. So that's my seed potatoes all set up for chitting from Potato House UK. Perhaps I bought more than I meant to, but they should fit the beds beautifully. Perhaps it's a bit naive of me, but I was kind of expecting them to be a bit more exciting. I think that because on the website they're all washed clean and cut in half or mashed up, you can see the variety in them and just how colourful they are. But when you get your seed potatoes and they've still got a little bit of soil on them, and they're all looking a bit dried out, they're not going to look very different from each other. So I guess I'm just going to have to be patient and wait until I harvest and bring them into the kitchen to see exactly what I've got, and then truly get excited about them at that stage. So that takes us onto the supermarket shop bag, and you might be wondering why on earth I've done that when I've already got these beautiful heritage varieties from Potato House UK. And the reason is I'm just joining in with a bit of fun that's been started by Erica's Little Welsh Garden. Now, if you don't follow Erica already, I do recommend that you pop over onto her YouTube channel and subscribe, and take a look at some of the things that she's been doing in her allotment space. And she's also on Instagram, so head over there and check out her grid. It's quite inspirational. So even though I've already got plenty of potatoes, Erica has set up a challenge, a bit of fun, for this year. And she's basically said, go out to a well-known supermarket and buy one of their bags of potatoes. Now, these were classed as mini roasting potatoes. And there are different varieties there. I don't think she's got this one, but I think a few others joining in the challenge have. This one is a Maris Piper, and it's actually come from Lincolnshire. I live in Lincolnshire. This is kind of perfect for me. This means I know that this variety are likely to enjoy my local growing conditions and are very unlikely to be bringing in disease because they've come from my own county. Sorry, I'm getting a bit distracted by Kira. Where's your ball, Kira? Find it! Where's it, Kira? Find it! If you hear lots of growls in the background, it's just Kira having a play with her ball just outside of the greenhouse with me. So Erica's idea is that we also have a bit of fun buying a bag of 1.5 kilogram potatoes from the supermarket, and we're going to try and get them planted up at the same time and harvested at the same time, and then we'll just see who's got the greatest weight of potatoes from that harvest. I don't know if there's a prize in it, Erica, is there a prize in it? I think perhaps just the prestige of having been the one to grow the greatest yield of potatoes. And you know, if you want to make yourself a sticker, go for it, I might. So if you want to join in this game, it's not too late. Nip out or get ordered in, because we are still in lockdown, a bag that is 1.5 kilograms of potatoes, ideally mini roasting, but basically anything where you're likely to get quite small potatoes. So these ones are a little bit smaller than an egg, most of them, probably about egg sized, and that's kind of ideal if you want to pick a potato from a supermarket rather than a specialist seed provider, and you want to try growing those at home. So this sort of size is perfect, which is why Erica suggested it. In fact, if you have a look, you can see that this one has already got some eyes on it that are quite pronounced. So when I start chitting this, those should sprout up quite nicely. So my plan is to grow the shop-bought supermarket potatoes separately to the specialist potatoes. And the reason for that is kind of twofold. One is so that I don't get confused with what I'm growing and from where, so I can keep the challenge separate and I can harvest it with a separate kind of growing and harvesting plan to everything else what I'm doing. But also it's because I do want to prevent the risk of disease. As I said, I think the risk of disease is actually quite low because these potatoes were grown in my own county and they've not travelled from overseas. I think that the chances are that these ones are probably going to be just fine. But I do want to kind of minimise that risk by... Yes, Kira, she's barking at me again. I do want to minimise that risk anyway if I can. So although I'm going to chip them in the same space, when it comes to growing them, I'll have my rainbow potatoes, my crop from Potato House is going to go into a brand new built veg bed that I've yet to build. And then these ones are going to go into potato sacks instead. So the growing conditions are going to be slightly different, but you know what? It's a bit of fun, so we'll just see how we get on. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope it was interesting or useful for you. And please do think about subscribing, and you can keep up with our journey throughout the growing season with our seed potatoes and also with the seeds we've bought from Real Seeds UK as well. I will be updating on how the challenge goes. If you want to get involved in the challenge yourself, head over to Erica's Little Welsh Garden, and I'm sure she's got a video on there. I'll link it below if I can. And she'll let you know how to get involved and what to do.